no fewer than 7 of the grand final team are missing for the Saints tonight. And they're up against a team that is itching to play. That's the words of the New Zealand coach, Gary Freeman. And test spots up for grabs for New Zealand here at Knowsley Road tonight. And a decent crowd actually has turned up to welcome home the champions. And they will know that they last met New Zealand as champions in 1971. St Helens won that night by 18 points to 8. They faced the New Zealanders in 1989. They lost 26 points to 27. But the Saints have won their 4th trophy in 3 seasons for Ian Millward. It was last Saturday night at Old Trafford, their 2nd grand final success in 3 years. Darren Albert, Darren Britt, they are of course all members of that grand final winning lineup. But the likes of Wellens, Newlove, Sculthorpe, Long, worryingly, he has a fractured cheekbone I'm told, Shields, Martin and the captain Chris Joint miss the Super Saints match against the Kiwis. But out they come, the tourists, led by their captain Stacey Jones. Their full lineup is Vialicki at fullback, Fafili, Vanganar, Tupi and Melly, Robbie Paul of Bradford alongside Stacey Jones, the captain. And the forwards, Siu, Swain and Solomona, Lauatiti, Kearney and Logan Swan. And the substitutes, Paul Latuya, Michael Smith of the Tigers, Jason Kales and Monty Beetham. The coach is Gary Freeman. And there is Stacey Jones. He will be leading his country against Great Britain in the 3-test series that starts in November. And Robbie Paul hiding the disappointment of the grand final defeat, and Ian Millward, the St Helens coach, taking his usual spot on the front row of the director's box over there on the far side. Stephen Kearney, one of the greats of New Zealand Rugby League. He was in the Kiwi team that won here 14-8 in 1993. 40 caps for his country. But the St Helens supporters now await the arrival of the champions. Their 4th title in the summer era, 3 Challenge Cup victories and a World Club crown. St Helens are the most successful side of the summer era. And a very special night for Sean Hoppy, who leads the Saints out this evening. Stewart at fullback, Kirkpatrick and then Hoppy, the former New Zealand Test star. He's skipper of the Saints tonight on his last appearance. Albert and Gardner complete the 3-quarter line. Martin Gleeson and Mickey Hyan at scrum half. The forwards, Darren Britt, Kieran Cunningham, Barry Ward, Stankovic, Bennett and Edmondson. And the bench, Cruikshank, Maiden signed from Warrington this week, Stuart Jones signed from Wigan this week, and Dave McConnell. The coach is Ian Millward. There's Gary Freeman, the New Zealand coach. His team lost in Wellington 2 weeks ago, 24-32 against Australia. They led 24-16 at half-time. And Russell Smith is tonight's match day referee, straight from the grand final. And now the Saints face the Haka.
They're kicking off. They're kicking off. They are.
They were wonderful ambassadors at Hull on Tuesday night, the New Zealanders. Robbie Paul wasn't playing then. He shakes hands with referee Russell Smith. That's a nice touch after all the controversy over the past week surrounding the grand final. And it's Saints against New Zealand here at Knowsley Road, the Super League champions with the 2nd crack at the tourists. How do you think they'll go, Steve-O?
They're going left.
Well, they certainly put a good effort in. Well, the St Helens side, okay, they've been ravaged by injury, and it is a big ask, but they do exceptionally well. The past record says that, and they will live for this game, and rightly so. They're a magnificent side, but Gary Freeman, as you've just mentioned, Eddie, said that his side really are up for this, and rightly so, because he's made it quite clear that no one is guaranteed a test spot. So a big night is expected from all 17 of the Kiwis involved tonight.
It's going to be Robbie Paul, by the looks of things, that will get this game in motion. Here we go. And a real test for the Saints. How will they react after that match at Old Trafford last Saturday evening? And of course the inevitable and expected celebrations that followed. Kieran Cunningham is out there, so too Darren Britt. He will drive it in. And the New Zealanders, 3 of them, bringing him down. Jerry Siu, the big number 8. Watch out for him. Exciting player. In fact, this is a very exciting side.
A lot to ask as well by the front row from St Helens, Britt, Ward, and of course Kieran Cunningham. And if they can lay the platform, St Helens do still have the stars out there. Stewart playing at full back, and of course Sean Hoppy wants to go out with a bang, and Darren Albert, one of the world's best.
Yes, there's plenty of talent out there, despite the fact that there is much talent sitting in the stands or watching at home on Sky Sports tonight. And that was Jerry Siu with that drive in. He gets to his feet. This is the way it looks. They've played 14 times since 1907 and 7 victories, 7 defeats as well, but 7 victories represents the best record by a British club against the touring New Zealanders since these tours began. Stacey Jones drifts the kick over the top, and that will run dead. The winger on that far side, John Kirkpatrick, allowing it to skip off the turf. It's been raining here for much of the afternoon, so the surface will be pretty slick. This is Martin Gleeson now for the Saints.
That's why it's important that the short kicking game will be to a great advantage for either side, and that's the first mistake. And he's allowed the play advantage at Russell Smith.
And rightly so. The winger on the far side, Fafili, dropped on it. And here they come now, the New Zealanders. Once again, that's Siu.
There's a big hit there. It is a very, very large outfit for the Kiwis. And this is a man to keep your eye on. Salamona. Wonderful offloading skills.
And a dab to the corner from Stacey Jones. It's a great kick, and Anthony Stewart will flick the ball dead, and it will be a drop out underneath the St Helens post, will it? No, he's ruled that it's a 20-metre tap.
Well, he certainly strode across the line, did everything right. Good decision by Russell Smith. But we saw there the second kick from Stacey Jones. He'll be the architect.
This is Kieran Cunningham for Saints. He's likely to face these Kiwis 5 times here tonight, next Sunday in Wales, leading his country in Cardiff, and then of course in the 3 test matches. And it's a surprise in many people's books that Cunningham is playing tonight, but he was desperate to turn out for the St Helens side.
Well, he just plays on adrenaline, doesn't he? And his coach Ian Millwood knows that how important that Cunningham will be. Oh, that's a knock on. Just put the mocker on Kieran.
I was going to mention that bandage that he's got on his right hand. He has got a problem with that hand from all accounts, and maybe needs a bit of a breather.
To be fair though, Eddie, he's had a problem with that for quite some time.
Yes, he has.
He's a tough hombre. He knows exactly what's needed. But it's a good start by Saints. And the fact that they spill the ball twice, but their defence is pretty quick.
That's a forward pass, a mile forward that was, I'm sure, to Francis Melly. It's play on.
Well, it certainly looked that way, but Russell Smith just waved it away.
Eventually Melly takes the tackle, and waiting there is Richard Swain. Infield it goes to Stacey Jones, the engineer-in-chief. He finds Robbie Paul. He hands it on to Stephen Kearney.
This is the pass there. Only just. And he was in a good position, perhaps. But
he was there to rule on it.
With St Helens, Eddie, is that they've come up with too many errors so early. Yet, the Kiwis have yet to score.
This is Logan Swan now. Pops the ball back to the big second rower, Lauatiti. He helps it on wide, and this is Fafili. It's Melly, I beg your pardon. Melly plays the ball to Richard Swain. Now it's with Stacey Jones again. Another dink over the top. Well gathered in, though, by Anthony Stewart.
Oh, he's lost it. And it's got to be a try, surely.
They have a chance here. Nigel Banganar will eventually get to his feet. Stacey Jones waits at dummy half and comes back this way. He hands it on. And Kearney tries to brush away from Mickey Hyam. Can't do so. Swain. And now Logan Swan again. Well, they've lost a bit of ground, the Kiwis, but now they're back within 3 metres of that line. Richard Swain again.
Great scrambling defence, though. They've taken the inside pass.
Lauatiti, and he gets over the line and he gets the ball down, Ali Lauatiti. That'll be the first try to New Zealand, 5 minutes on the clock. Ali Lawatiti, suspended for the match against Hull on Tuesday, served the one-match ban, missed the opener, and he's marked his return to the side after only 5 minutes with the first try.
Well, we said the Saints' biggest problem was losing the possession, and this time it was the fullback Anthony Stewart. Whipped away, it was one-on-one, he looked for the penalty, but he's not going to get it. Good work there by the hooker, Richard Swain. See how he just went on the angle, brought the big fella back inside, and Lawatiti gladly took it. That's a good move. It went far too high, and it was too late when Albert tried to go and prevent him.
Well, physically they're a big side, this New Zealand touring outfit. Just 22 on the tour, Lawatiti one of them. And, well, they have other New Zealanders based in this country who no doubt are on standby just in case they hit the wall in terms of injuries. But here now is Richard Swain to try and add the extras to that try. Swain with a kick, and he deposits it furly and squarely over the top of the H. And the New Zealanders have a 6-0 lead here at Knowsley Road against the new Super League champions. Ali Lawatiti of the New Zealand Warriors, one of 7 Warriors who start this match again tonight.
That was good play. Watch how he runs across, and you see how Ward just gets sucked in. The big second rower through the dummy. Ward hesitated. As Eddie has just mentioned, they had a big outfit and very strong indeed.
Logan Swan traps the kickoff, runs it forward. Stankovic is there, Cunningham is there, and also Barry Ward is there. And there's a penalty for pushing and shoving as Logan Swan tried to get to his feet to play the ball.
It's obviously a ploy by the Saints coach Ian Millwood, say, look, let's try to slow them down. I mentioned at the game at Hull early this week, Eddie, is the fact that these Kiwis will find it a little bit different with the interpretation by the English referees. In Australia, of course, where most of these players play, they play the ball so quickly.
Stacey Jones, ball comes this way, good little run coming in here again from Solomona, and with that head guard he stands out like a sore thumb, doesn't he? And Richard Swain waits at dummy half, and now it's with Lawatiti, the try scorer. Tupi was waiting for any offload, didn't come. Swain again, he will attack Mickey Hyam and John Stankovic.
Pretty talented hooker as well, Richard Swain. He's starting to take control of the dummy half.
He joins the Brisbane Broncos next year. This is Stacey Jones, good ball to Keeney. That's the last tackle, this set of 6 for the New Zealanders. Jones again, and there's the kick over the top looking for the speedsters, but the winger, he did well, did Kirkpatrick, and he's done even better there to stay within the field of play under pressure from Banganar and Robbie Paul.
Read the game superbly there, but you can see this Kiwi defence pretty solid. Standing square. Oh, and they've had a few words to say to Russell Smith.
Wasn't Robbie Paul. I think he was pointing at either Swain or Solomona.
I think it was a big prop forward, Solomona. He wasn't too impressed with the previous tackle.
So the Saints in possession on halfway. Good hands, good movement. This is Edmondson.
Neat little offload as well.
And they have another penalty.
They'll bring the captain, surely.
He's taken it quickly as Cunningham. And Cunningham, that's what we hope he'll be doing for Great Britain in the Test Series and indeed Wales next Sunday. Mickey Hyam waits, the 10 metres away, St Helens. And Hyam will dart his way through and will score. Great try from Mickey Hyam, engineered by Cunningham's quick tap from the penalty. And the champions responding with a try from Hyam.
Well, they've only themselves to blame with the Kiwis. They gave away a silly penalty way downfield, 10 metres away from the Saints try line. And then they gave another penalty. Russell Smith had no option, they were all over them. Logan Swan, one of the culprits, and they had their backs turned. That is not a sign of a good international team when you turn your back, especially when you know that Kieran Cunningham is around. Mickey Hyam, superb play there. And really, Kearney was at fault. He was a second marker and he was too quick. Nobody plays hooker as this fellow, but he's playing halfback tonight. He's no stranger to that position. But what a quick little run through the dummy, and they caught the Kiwis flat.
Barry Ward taking the conversion and Barry Ward adding the extras. 6 points apiece, the champions and New Zealand. Well, just one defeat at Nosey Road this year against the Bradford Bulls in the grand final qualifier, and Mickey Hyan, he's responded perfectly.
Quick thinking on both parts, this young fellow and of course the experienced Keenan Cunningham. So in effect it's a combination of two regular hookers that have got Saints on the board, and boy oh boy didn't the crowd like that.
We've just witnessed Barry Ward's first ever goal. And there's another first here at Knowsley Road tonight. Big Barry, he's featured in the last 20. The grand final was only his 6th start, and he's just come up with his first ever 2-point goal.
It wasn't a bad effort, was it really? I mean, it had plenty of skill to it. Oh, it's another bad mistake.
Well, he was stretching forward, Mark Edmondson, and he bounced, and as he bounced, his elbows hit the deck, and the ball spewed up, and here is See You, and he offloads backwards. It goes to Richard Swain. 10 metres away, New Zealand.
Kiwis quite happy with the fact that Richard Swain controlling things, bringing people back short on the angle.
Solomona taking them on.
2 hands off, John.
It was Britlow down, and it was Stankovic up top, and he now is Vailicki, the fullback, and he is being dragged over the line, and he's held up on his back, is he? As Russell Smith spotted, he's got the ball down. No, he's held up. He's held up, so they'll get head and feed at the scrum here, will New Zealand? Well, David Vailicki got a try on Hull, the first of the tour on Tuesday.
Well, the Parramatta fullback certainly impressed me.
Keep it 5, John.
Just playing the centres though for the Parramatta Eels.
Bit of space here for New Zealand to exploit, maybe. This is Lauatiti.
Release, quickly, one.
And Stacey Jones directing the operations at dummy half. Logan Swan now, driving for that line. The ball has come out.
2-on-1, surely.
And it was. Referee's given the penalty.
Never any doubt in the Melly Whistler's mind.
Where's your mark, Richard?
And surely they'll just take the tap, which they do.
And this is Stacey Jones, and now Stephen Kearney.
A little bit slow in the second phase. The support play from New Zealand, not all that good as yet.
Stacey Jones, Solomona takes 3 to bring him down. Richard Swain. Stacey Jones running flat, and a little space opens up. He gives it to Robbie Paul. Well, I suppose that's inevitable. The ball has come backwards and out. So play on. Jones and wide, and this is a try. Terrific try here from Nigel Banganar.
He's checking there, was it definitely gone back?
And the referee just having a quick word with the video referee David Campbell.
Let's have a look,
he just wants to check how the ball came out and whether it definitely did go backwards. Certainly from up here it looked like it did, and Banganar believes he scored.
Short pass from Stacey Jones, Robbie Paul. He did go backwards. This will stick as a TRY, no doubt about it. This will go up on the board.
Well, that was all he was interested in, looking how the ball came out. Banganar thinks he scored, and David Campbell agrees. He got a try at Hull on Tuesday. He's got his second of the tour, Nigel Banganar. Canterbury Bulldogs, once upon a time of Warrington. Very dangerous character close to the line.
Well, this is where it went backwards and they lost the ball yet again. And there was little doubt there was 2-on-1. One pulled it away, and from the quick tap. Well, they're getting into the swing of things, aren't they? We mentioned before the kickoff that Stacey Jones, he's world-class. Video referee definitely got it right. Robbie Paul, the ball going backwards. Banganar, who this year really has improved out of sight. And like the little halfback there, he's up into the world-class department. Good finish. Very confident, good runner, good style.
And Richard Swain side puts the ball over the top of the bar. Didn't need even to take the headgear off then. So it's 12 points to 6 to the Kiwis. And a deep kick-off by St Helens to restart the match. Ball comes out. That was Tupi, and he then finds Melly.
Well, they're so adventurous. So one thing about anyone that wants to come and watch this side, the Kiwis, they are really, really wonderful to watch. Full of skill,
interesting.
Pretty tough in the forwards, Eddie, but they love to keep this ball alive, don't they?
They do. We saw a bit of that after half an hour or so on Tuesday. They played with gay abandon, really, against Hull. Ground out the win in the end. Although they were 7-6 down, of course, at half-time. But Gary Freeman, the most capped Kiwi, he has said that his men are desperate to play tonight and to put on a show for everybody in this country, particularly as it is the Super League champions that they're playing. It would be a wonderful fillip for them ahead of the tests and that match against the Welsh. High kick there from Stacey Jones, claimed by Melly. They're running it. It turns on the last, but I think they're trapped here. No, the ball has gone back again. It's play on, and it's right. The tackle count down as well, and Anthony Stewart will just hoof the ball dead. There was a St Helens hand in there, and that's why the tackle count was wiped down. The Kiwi didn't see it though, and he put the kick in.
Well, they were pretty fortunate there. Melly was going
Jones
on the last tackle, and you can see that it did go backwards.
Keep behind the line, John.
Then it reefed it out.
Well, it was Stacey Jones who maybe got the call a little bit late from Russell Smith, but 12-6, the Kiwis lead, and they're looking dangerous, Phil Clark, aren't they, ahead of the tests?
Yeah, pretty business-like start from them, but I think they've been helped, haven't they, by the fact St Helens turning over possession close to on line. It's just inviting New Zealand into this. I think they want to up the ante really from the performance at Hull the other night. But Saints are a side who rise to a challenge, and they've got a massive one here tonight.
That's a good ball back on the inside to see you from Stacey Jones. So inventive, the scrum half. He's at the heart of everything. Here he is again, and it's now with Lauatiti. That's good defence, but he offloads well to Jones. It goes wide to Tupi. Oh, and in fact, looking for the winger, and Nelly, he just couldn't take it in.
Well, all Tupi had to do was just slide in at the corner, and he tried a fancy inside pass. I was praising them a few moments ago in regards to they're very adventurous. All he had to do was just dive.
And he took a nasty bang off the advertising hoarding as well, pushing the back for his pains also.
Well, Francis Melly stayed out wide, but and the reason why he did that was he realised his inside centre, all it did was slide into the corner, especially in these wet conditions. Pretty damp on that surface.
And there is Michael Smith, number 15 of the Castleford Tigers. You might have noticed that Saints made a change earlier as well. Stuart Jones, number 18, is out there for the Saints, released by Wigan this week. Just 8 appearances for the Wiganers, for the Warriors. And Ian Millwood was quick to sign him. Oh, and that was a little fumble by Mickey Hyam, but it went backwards, said the referee. And here is Stankovic, and the hoof downfield. He finds touch, does Stankovic. Sub in the grand final. He started against Wigan a couple of years ago, Stankovic, in the Old Trafford showpiece.
You know, you've got to praise this Saints coach, Ian Millwood. Irrespective of where his players play, what position, it allows them to do everything. I mean, we've had Ward kicking his first goal ever. See Stankovic playing out wide in the centres, kicking the ball towards the touchline. He's so much confidence in him, and I'm sure all the players have the same respect for their coach, Mr. Millwood.
No doubt about that. We have been talking all evening and throughout this tour so far about the tests. Great Britain, New Zealand, November the 9th, 16th and 23rd. If you need any other information about the test series, about the match against England A on Wednesday in London, about the match against Wales in Cardiff next Sunday, ring the league's information line 0113 232 9111. And they're pretty busy at the moment, and they might well be open for business in the morning, by the way. That's the telephone number you need to check out. Heath Cruikshank has returned to St Helens from Huddersfield, and he's on now for Darren Britt. This, meanwhile, is Richard Swain.
He wants to have a big game as well as Richard Swain, the Melbourne top star, because he does have so much respect for his opposite number, Kieran Cunningham. In fact, an interview with him midway through this season, he was saying that he was such a wonderful player, Kieran Cunningham, but he said he had a few little tricks up his sleeve himself. It'll be interesting.
Well, he'll have plenty of opportunity to show them. As I say, he's liable to play 5 times. Michael Smith penalised here for stealing the ball off Mike Bennett after the tackle completed.
Well, he just had a little dig, didn't he, with the left arm. Tackle completed, as Eddie has just said. Silly play, really.
Away!
And here's another player that's fighting. It'll be a big battle getting to that test side.
Keep him low.
That's why they'll be up for this,
That's
the Kiwis tonight.
Don't push it.
6 penalties the opening 20 minutes, 4 of them to St Helens. Edmondson, untidy pass really, but Stewart did well to pick it up. And then Robbie Paul and Stephen Kearney just dragging back a few more metres. That's the second tackle. Hyam waits. And that's Gleeson. Good ball, manages to offload.
Interesting to see how Gleeson handles this position at standoff. Made his name this year, of course, so he's had a sensational season in the centres.
Great ball then. Great ball from Cunningham to Edmondson. Cunningham there again at dummy half. And Cunningham dabs the ball down the wing. There's been a slip there by a Kiwi. This is going to be a try. And it's a try for Martin Gleeson. Martin Gleeson. Well, as the kick went through, the New Zealanders fell about all over the place. They just couldn't keep their feet on this treacherous surface. And Gleeson was the first to react. He swooped in and popped the ball down.
Well, the one thing David Waite will have noticed, and he'll have noticed a lot, that they cannot handle this short kicking game. Good work from Cunningham. He could see that they were moving up, and the fullback, Violecki, was very slow to get into a position. Gleeson gleefully took the ball for the try, and that's just the fillip that Saints needed. But they are having problems, Eddie, this New Zealand outfit. We saw against Hull early in the game the kick, and they were kicking early in the tackle count.
Another kicker here, John Stankovic. Barry Ward off the field, of course, but Stankovic, well, it's got Ian Proctor searching through the record books again. Has Stankovic ever kicked a goal now? Left-footed.
I don't think he'll ever do it.
Maybe he hasn't. It's almost shattered the corner flag.
Not with a style like that. He has a big smile on his face.
Yeah, and he never has kicked the goal before, Stankovic.
And I don't think he'll get another chance either. I think it's obviously a ploy by Ian Millwood to say, listen, take it in turns. Perhaps, who knows? You never know with Millwood. But
Cunningham at the heart of the try again, though.
Oh, he's a great player. You can see that. Okay, they slipped, but they weren't in a good position. As I mentioned, Violecki was very slow to get back. I'm sure that David Waite and Brian Noble, who is the assistant, I know he's here tonight watching this game. But a nice reception by the Saints fans as well, I might add.
Yes, he did. And
sure
so did somebody else I know quite well.
I wonder who that might have been. Anyway, the fact is that it can lift their spirits, because David Waite knows all about the kicking game. And that silly play again, and
well, the penalty given, but I'm afraid that Kieran Cunningham has not found touch with the kick, and so the New Zealanders have it back in the shape of Violecki, their full-back, and he now is Jason Kales.
2 hands off.
Swain again at dummy half. Stacey Jones, and wide it comes to Robbie Paul, and here is Stephen Kearney. Lovely ball to Vanganar, and Nigel Vanganar taking him off for speed. Well, he was bundled over on his backside then, and Fafili just couldn't take any of the bits and pieces in.
Wonderful effort though, wasn't it, for the centre Vanganar? From a standing start, he really got into top speed. And we noticed at Hull, especially in the opening 40 minutes, that they like to keep this ball alive, but sometimes I just get the feeling maybe Gary Freeman should get the message out and say, hey, come on fellas, let's just settle down a bit, let's build a little bit more. We're not here to play fancy football all the time. We've got to win this game.
And he's lost that with Bennett. Play on. The shout from the touch judge, and so New Zealand will in the shape of Logan Swan. Richard Swain, and here is Michael Smith. He gets it away to Kales. Kales tackled by Mark Edmondson.
The one thing that the New Zealand side cannot do, and that's just take St Helens for granted, saying that, OK, they've had a vicious grand final and they should tire. But we know so many times, Eddie, that this St Helens side dig deep and come back from everything.
They do, and they never know when they're beaten. This is Michael Smith. Swain to Jones. And Jones just dropped the shoulder, came back on the inside.
Hands off! Hands off!
That's Tony Pugliatuya, the 14, but the ball is kicked across the face of the posts. And Kearney gets to Gleeson, and he's grounded in goal. and it's another dropout coming up under the sticks from the Saints.
Robbie!
Wonderful pressure kick here.
To get a foot on it, just roll
Richard
it.
Swain with
the
it.
hooker. He's here, there and everywhere on this particular game. We say it often, don't we, in regards to if you apply their pressure, get a couple of sets of 6 on the roll, and inevitably come up with a knock-on. I should have said a try, but no one within cooey of him.
Jason careless.
And careless was careless. He did everything right, apart from close the elbows. You youngsters watching out there, you know exactly that when the ball's up, you put your hands out and you bring in the elbows in between, and that stops it being a knock-on.
And there's a knock-on now from Darren Albert. That's play on. Robbie Paul has it for the New Zealanders. He's got it away to Clinton Tupi. Tupi's heading towards the try line, the touch line. He's in touch. He's in touch. Great work by Darren Albert.
He's had a sensational season, you know, Darren Albert. Had to drop back to full-back on several occasions this year, and not to impress Gary Freeman.
Here's your mark, lads.
And again, we're just talking about this this wonderful ability to keep this ball alive. But there are times when you've got to build and try to make sure that the opposition is just, well, a little bit downhearted.
Mickey Hyam and Cunningham. He's certainly the danger man for St Helens.
He's lost it. That'll be a penalty.
And the referee will bring Stacey Jones to him now.
Stacey!
He wants a word, and I think they're on a warning.
Well, it's Michael Smith yet again. I know that he's pointing the finger at Richard Swain.
You can tell the theme is quick. Yeah. We're just holding on a fraction too long. Yeah. You're risking a sin bin if we continue with it. Got to get back, right? Yep, you've had nearly all the possession. That's all it's been. Take him back. You could.
Risking a sin bin if this persists.
Well, Gary Freeman has to get the message out to the substitute Michael Smith. I know he's wanting a big game, but that's the third occasion that he's given away a penalty. Interference at the play of the ball on 2 other occasions.
Here is Stankovic now, testing this New Zealand defence, who are aiming to become the first Kiwi side to go through a full tour unbeaten. And here is Barry Ward. He's back on again. Remember, it's 4 subs tonight, 12 interchanges allowed by the coaches. International rule. Cunningham with a little grubber kick to the in goal, just a fraction too long. Well, he's enjoying every minute of it, Kieran Cunningham.
Well, he loves playing rugby league, doesn't he? But I thought the build-up to that, the tackle on Barry Ward by the second rower, Stephen Kearney, was a bit high. And I thought the Saints unfortunate not to get a penalty there right in front of the sticks.
This is Tupi, and he really does like to keep this ball alive. Here's Kalis. Saints now caught offside.
Mike, get away!
You know, it's a funny warble with Russell Smith's whistle tonight.
Bit of water in it,
I think
maybe.
he's got something in it anyway.
Only 10 lads.
Took control of the grand final, and sadly, after a wonderful, wonderful match, there have been far too many people who have pointed to the controversies in the match. It's detracted from the performance of the players. But nothing will ever take away from us the memory of a wonderful grand final, Steve-O.
Superb. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was excellent.
As I said, it was just unfortunate that it had to end in such a manner. Controversial decisions all the way through it. But you always get that. That's our game, isn't it?
Indeed so. This is Michael Smith again. Running flat, he'll try and straighten it up now. Will he try and offload? No, he hangs on and keeps the legs pumping.
Good work by Martin Gleeson there. Made sure the big fella couldn't offload.
Swain to Stacey Jones. A stab through, bounced off the knees. Was he taken out? The St Helens player. I think maybe he was. It was Heath Cruikshank. The referee says back to 0 in the tackle count. Swain and Kalis to drive it in. He's lost it.
It's just not going to be the night for fancy handling. It's already been improved so far. Rain for a couple of hours this afternoon. Just made the surface a little bit greasy. And there were Saints that were coming up with the errors early in this game, and just approaching the 30-minute mark. Saints will be very happy, especially with so many mistakes early, that they're only 2 points adrift.
Just inside the 40.
The kick downfield was from Nick Hyam. Vailicki, the fullback, has collected it. There's a good chase from Saints. Well, and that's Stuart Jones. Signed from Wigan this week. Well, there's a lot of enthusiasm still in this St Helens side. They're carrying the Super League banner with pride. Swain. Tony Pugliatuia, great tackle. But they had a second little effort at it. And that's why they have the penalty.
Now then, will the official call the captain of the night, Sean Hoppy? No. Obviously going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Stick it back. Richard. Wait.
So here come the Kiwis again with Jason Kalis. A test once more of this St Helens defence, which was robust in the extreme last Saturday. Michael Smith again, and he will keep driving towards those posts. Good run from Michael Smith. Good effort.
On the line, away.
Richard Swain at dummy half. Here's Stacey Jones. A stab through and flick back. Play on, says the touch judge, far side. Good harrying. Terrific scrambling in defence by Kirkpatrick and Hoppy.
Back to 6.
0 though, you're right. This is Kearney.
It's important now that Saints keep the Kiwis out. They can ill afford to give away.
That's a knock on by Saints.
Yeah. The scrum down, head and feet to the black and whites.
It was good thinking by the New Zealander actually. He just knew he couldn't get to it, so he flicked it with his foot. It was Pugliatuia, and Darren Albert just couldn't take the pass in.
That's what he didn't do.
Stay away a minute.
I'll pull it to him.
Pull it to him.
Just keep away.
Well,
make sure that he didn't have any chance of getting the hands in the way.
This is the last match that Phil Clark is going to be talking to us on Sky Sports before he takes up his Great Britain duties. Phil, I think you will be pretty encouraged, won't you, by the performance of St Helens tonight?
Yeah, very much so. I think since winning the grand final, the week's been more about celebration than preparation. They've done a remarkable job. They'll just hang fire. Oh, things going from bad for worse at the moment for the New Zealand side. Robbie Paul trying to find the long ball out to the wing, but put too much on it. I think they're just a little too eager at the moment, aren't they, to try and come up with that try and forge ahead of the Saints side. The other thing that stuck out maybe to me, the New Zealand side at the moment, just struggling to find the best props, aren't they? The ones who are out there not quite with it. They've obviously lost Craig Smith and Nathan Kalis before the tour began, and that'll be the area of most concern, I think, for Gary Freeman.
Thanks, Phil, and best of luck, of course, with your Great Britain duties. Great Britain squad and the England squad for the match on Wednesday against these New Zealanders will be announced on the morrow.
Well, I certainly would enjoy having a celebration drink with Mr. Clark after clinching the Ashes, and that's a mistake from Kieran Cunningham.
And it's play on. It's the New Zealanders who have the ball, and it's Kalis again for them.
Definitely went for the ball, didn't he?
And here now is Robbie Paul. And Robbie Paul has seen a gap. He's got nobody though in support, and Stewart was the man who took him down. But why didn't he go for the line himself?
Precisely. Why did he want to slow down and throw the dummy to nobody and then still go on his own?
Vailicki. And Vailicki will straighten it up. Still going Vailicki, and eventually is wrestled to the deck. Well, they've spurned so many chances, the New Zealanders here. Jones, long pass. Here's Pugliatuia, he's through one, he's through another. That's a try. At long last, Tony Pugliatuia. He missed the Australian test in Wellington. The Penrith Panther has finally breached this St Helens defence after so many chances had gone begging.
Well, I can't believe that Robbie Paul didn't get on the try-scoring list with this. It was a good, beautiful dummy and step. All they'd do was just keep going for the corner. I don't think Stewart would have got to him. Certainly got to his legs perhaps, but he would have slid straight through. Either way, not the best attempt at tackle there. Poor defence. Maybe they're going to looking a little bit tired now, Saints. Early in this game, they were moving up as one effort, and not the best attempt from Hyam. He went low, but never got his shoulder anywhere near the big legs of Pugliatuia.
23 years of age. From the Penrith Panthers club, Tony Pugliatuia. And Richard Swain now, minus the head guard. 2 from 2 tonight. This 3 from 3. No, he sliced it wide. 16-10.
Well, not the best night for goal kicking, to be fair. It's not an excuse, but they fully deserved it.
Like it.
Well, they knew that they should have scored earlier. And that is a wonderful effort. It just shows you the upper body strength, how important it is. He made sure that the non-carrying arm just pegged him off the ground, and the ball-carrying arm just shot out and scored the try. And I think New Zealand will be quite relieved. As I say, you cannot just let this St. Helens side carry on.
Knock on there by Beetham, just on the field. He was picked up. It was a really strong tackle. Hoppy was in there, so too was Stankovic.
Well, to be fair to him, he was held there, and that was self-preservation. And it was Stankovic certainly had a hand on there. But when you're being picked up like that, and you see the ground coming up to you, the last thing you want to worry about is the ball, I can assure you. You just want to get the arm down, make sure you don't pile drive into the ground with your head.
So St. Helens with a glorious opportunity, and
he's gone.
Going to have someone in the bin here.
Yep.
I think it's Monty Beetham. He's only just on. But Beetham's only just come off the bench, and he's going straight back to the bench. He's having 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Well, if Gary Freeman, the New Zealander, thought perhaps it was a bit of a mistake to send out Beetham, remember who just lost the ball 30 seconds ago. He's got the opportunity to just sit down and watch the game for 10 minutes and regather his thoughts. And I don't think that the words of wisdom from Gary Freeman will be to his liking.
A shake of the head from the New Zealand coach. Here's Mick Hyam. It's Mike Bennett now. Try scorer Pully Tuya and Robbie Paul, the Bradford Bulls skipper. Stop that raid, but is it only a temporary halt? That's great defence from Kearney. Mickey Hyam trying to get to his feet, does so, plays the ball to Cunningham, and it's been picked up by Robbie Paul, and Robbie Paul is away. He's got support here from the winger Melly, but scrambling defence back from the Saints. Good ground made though on the zero tackle. Here's Clinton Tupy. Richard Swain.
Get him low. I must say, it was a great tackle there by Darren Albert, who come right in from the centre, right in the middle of the field, made sure when they made the half break. I must say,
13 breaks from New Zealand, only 2 for the Saints. Amazingly, only a 6-point lead. Stacey Jones misses out Pully Tuya, knocked on by Robbie Paul, who is not having the best of nights. The Bradford captain, desperately disappointed last Saturday and being given the real rounds of the kitchen by the Saints supporters, of course.
Well, this is not an exhibition game, and Gary Freeman will obviously say that at half-time, say, come on, fellas, all they got to do is build, keep pushing Saints backwards and forwards across the defensive line. They know they've had a hard game in a grand final, so therefore they've got to start tiring.
Just a big hit on Stankovic, Kalis and the hooker Richard Swain. And St. Helens though playing the ball quickly, making good ground, and here is Darren Britt, and he's spun to the ground eventually.
It's good solid hard work from Saints, applying the pressure.
Cunningham to Barry Ward, little dummy on the inside, takes the tackle from Pully Tuya, and also Michael Smith plays the ball to Mick Hyam. Here is Kieran Cunningham, back on the inside, it goes to Edmondson. Edmondson's gone high and he's hacked it forward. Stacey Jones got a hand to it, and that ball is shuttled over the dead ball line by David Bialicki.
Well, it just shows you that the panic that this New Zealand side went get anywhere near the chance to score to the opposition. If you want to succeed in international rugby league, you must have composure. You must make sure that you build and then attack at the right time.
It's an outstanding effort from St. Helens though, 6 days after that grand final.
Well, they've had so many times that the Kiwis have made the break that they've had to scramble back. That will tell, no doubt about that.
This is Vanganar. Edmondson wrestles into the ground, but he wasn't standing square, so it's a penalty to New Zealand.
Just a tap. Now he's going to go for the corner.
Oh, he's made a right porridge of it. Stacey Jones with that kick to the corner, and it bounced dead in goal in the end.
Well, he'll drop out on the 20. At least he'll get possession, but not in the position that he wanted it, the captain.
Well, Gary Freeman has got some work to do.
Well, we said and we knew that they'd be a little bit rusty in their first game against Hull, and in that second half they performed like an international class side, but they've yet to do it here.
Kearney on to Jones, and he comes wide to Tupi. He has the winger outside him, and here he is, Francis Melly, who goes away from Hyam, flicks the pass away, and Tupi was tackled, but the ball had gone to the deck, so it's play on. Saints have it, and this will surely be the end of the first half.
That was a ridiculous pass out of nowhere with so much heavy traffic in it.
And there's the half-time siren, and Gary Freeman has got a few problems, trying to forge a side that will take on Great Britain. All right, they've scored 3 tries to 2 in the first half, but Cunningham has been an inspiration in many ways for St Helens, and the champions are playing like they really do want to defend that crown against the tourists. Saints 10, New Zealand 16. They've only shown in flashes of the Kiwis, despite making so many clean breaks. They have spurned the opportunities to have this match wrapped up by now. As it is at half-time, the gap's only 6. More Premiership football coming up for you on Sunday at 1:30. Our live pay-per-view matches. Southampton against Fulham. Call the usual number 08705 160 160 for more information. And then from 3 o'clock on Sky Sports 1, West Ham take on Everton. The Think, Don't Drink, Drive international tour of the Kiwis is a match and a half old, and at half-time, New Zealand are ahead against the champions by 16 points to 10. Kelsey Road, the home of the champions of 2002, and Gary Freeman, the coach of New Zealand, he knows that Castleford, 16 points to 4 at Weldon Road in October 1993 was the last time that the New Zealand tourists were beaten by a British club side. They've faced 23 different clubs over the years since 1907. 14 times they've played St Helens, and Saints have won 7, lost 7. The balance of power will tip one way in the next 40 minutes. We're underway. Saints with a shallow kick-off. Kearney allows it to bounce off his ankles and knees. And first tackle of the match. Now then, I'm sure that Gary Freeman will want a lot more fluency from his side, and immediately he gets a penalty.
Yeah, well, he warned them first half. He's bringing the skipper over, Sean Hoppy. This is the final warning. No doubt that Mickey Hyam trying to do the turtle.
Just held on to so you're risking the same as them.
Frog in the throat then, I'm afraid.
Turtles, frogs.
What next?
Penalty to New Zealand. Drilled down the line.
Hold it, lads.
One of the best in the world, Stacey Jones. Jason Kalis.
Kieran went right over the top. Kalis says, I'm dipping. Good job he did.
They look like they've upped the ante a little here. The tourists, that's Michael Smith, playing the ball to Swain. Jones, Pulatuya. And they take 2 or 3 men always to halt them or bring them down, these big New Zealand tourists. Here is Kearney, straight over the top of one. And the one was Stuart Jones. Swain to Jones. And St Helens scrambling defence, paying dividends so far. Can they keep them out? Violicki. That's the last tackle. Cunningham with that particular tackle. Swain, Jones, and the kick out wide. Oh, but well, he hasn't got his sight sets at all. Well, I wonder what was said at half-time. Chris Warren's the man on the touchline today.
Wait.
Well, Eddie, both coaches very happy. I mean, Ian Millwood, he was very upbeat indeed. He said, look, to be trailing by just 6 points, every one of these players is putting in. These young kids, I've given them opportunities, and every one of them's putting in. So he's not complaining there at all. I asked him about the kicking situation, kicking for goal, that is. He said, well, who else do you use? All 4 recognised kickers are out, so we're all having a go. So he's quite pleased with the scoreline, more so pleased with the effort. For the Kiwis, Gary Freeman, he was also reasonably pleased. I know many would have thought they'd be leading by more than just 6 points at the half-time break, but he was happy with their performance. He wasn't that happy with their execution on the opposition line. He wants to see a little bit more ball control, and that was all.
This is Darren Albert for St Helens, and I think he's over the touchline. I think he's over the touchline, Albert, even though he reached the try line. I think his body was spun across that whitewash on the right-hand side.
It was a great build-up, though.
Definitely gone over the touchline, Russ. So he's in touch. Well, but I couldn't see where the ball was before
it was pretty close, but he'll go to the screen, and rightly so. The touch judge is not convinced, and the Melly whistleblower said it, but as I mentioned earlier, this guy has had a wonderful season. He did everything right, didn't he? Went short, and that's no try. I think he lost the ball anyway.
Yeah, great groan around the stadium when the Saints fans saw that on the big screen. This will be no try from video referee tonight, David Campbell. And New Zealand have head and feet at the scrum.
Martin!
But what a season this fellow's had, Darren Albert. A new 3-year deal, of course, signed and sealed.
Well, there again, we see the Kiwis just falling asleep in defence. It was a well-worked little short side on the blind, and he's lost it. No, he's got it. Got it back. Oh, he was lucky there. And there was only, there was only Stacey Jones in that position on the blind side. There was no winger. He's got a lot of work to do as Gary Freeman, I can assure you, especially in positional sense.
You're encouraged for the series then, the test.
My word.
But they will get better. The touring side always gets better. That was forward from Jones to Vangenaar.
Just delayed it a little bit too long, not too happy. No doubt about it. And no hint of the momentum rule, because the man who passed it had gained no momentum forward.
Honestly, I didn't see it, mate. Okay, Steve.
The much maligned momentum rule. England A take on New Zealand on Wednesday at 8 on Sky Sports 1. Match number 3 of the Kiwis tour. Match 4 takes them to Wales. This is Gleeson.
Well, the defence is falling apart. All he did was just throw a simple dummy.
Stewart to Hyam, who will come back this way. And Hyam eventually is grounded on the second tackle. And this now is Stewart trying to go on his own, hanging on, just a metre or so away from the line. Hyam again. Wide it goes, Gleeson, bullet pass out wide. That's a try to Bennett.
No doubt about it.
That's a try to Michael Bennett.
No doubt whatsoever, and again...
I beg your pardon, it's Eddie Gardner. Eddie Gardner with the try.
Doesn't matter, the Saints fans love it, and rightly so. That's 3 clean breaks. They only had 2 clean breaks in the first half. They've had 3 within 5 minutes after the restart. And Gleeson threw the dummy. And I'm afraid that Vangenaar was caught short here. And then from it, they did well to get it back. But look at this blind side here. What on earth is Malley doing inside there? It should have been man-on-man marking. Well, Malley left a huge gap out wide, and Mr. Gardner will remember that, and rightly so. Well, I said that Gareth Freeman had a hard job sorting it all out. It looks as though it's getting harder and harder as the seconds go by. Here's the big fella. Can he make it the second time? He puts the ball over the bar and between the sticks. Well, there's a buzz around this ground now.
Got a chance, but he doesn't keep his 100% kicking record. Well, he's enjoying it, Ian Millwood, and rightly so, because these youngsters, Adrian Gardner, the latest of them, they're doing this club proud. 19 years of age, he was in the England Academy side that did so well in New Zealand last year. And how about this for a try against the Kiwis? Flying stuff.
But not the best, Eddie, from an international player like Francis Melly. You could have driven a bus on the outside between him and the corner post.
What a drive forward by Cunningham that was. And Monty Beetham felt that. Well, let's get back to our schedule that's coming up. Sky Sports 2 next Sunday, November the 3rd at 2 o'clock is Wales against New Zealand. That's at the Millennium Stadium. And then the tests begin. Following week, the 9th at 6, Saturday, Sky Sports 1. We're in Blackburn for that one. And the second is at Huddersfield, and the third is at Wigan. On successive Saturdays, and Gary Freeman, well, only a narrow lead here against the champs.
Well, you wouldn't have given him any chance whatsoever, did he, after that? I mean, it was a bruising grand final. I mean, they were dropping down like flies at Manchester.
Yes,
all
there was
with
cramp and all sorts, yes.
They'll have been celebrating, but they're still in this, and they're in it big time.
Hoppy has just dropped that, though. And Stankovic has picked up the pieces. Oh, he's flicked it in field. And the Kiwis have got it back in the shape of Henry Farfili. And Farfili has seen a gap. He's taking on Stewart. He's up the middle. That's a great harry down, though. Mickey Hyam, was it? No, it wasn't. It was Stuart Jones.
Great defence.
This is Robbie Paul. Keeps the movement going to Kalis. Kalis stopped on the 20-metre mark. Swain. Kearney.
Well, at least they're not trying to score off every pass. They're doing good drives in. They've got themselves into position. Now they come up with the inside move.
Vailicki held up a metre or so short. Swain again. Stacey Jones. Oh, that was an easy ball that was taken in there by the substitute Michael Smith, and Michael Smith's over for the try. Greeted by silence. The man who made his international debut at Hull, Michael Smith, has just come up with his first international try for his country. Michael Smith of the Castleford Tigers. Silence at Knowsley Road.
Well, I mentioned at half-time that Freeman had been happy they were playing basketball. They were. For a few seconds. Neat little dummy there, and good step from Farfili. And they were struggling to get back with the Saints defence. They were all at sea. And the skill there, it just delayed it ever so much. Stacey Jones. You remember that one, that's for sure.
Had a great year with Castleford, and he nailed his colours to the mast early, did Michael Smith. He always wanted to try and get in to this Kiwi touring squad, and he succeeded in that. And he's just come up with his first try for his country. Now then, Richard Swain again, the Melbourne Storm hooker, on his way to Brisbane next year. Nonchalantly, he plants the ball over the top, and it's 22 points to 14 now. One or two Kiwis in the crowd here.
And to be fair, they've had little to cheer about. But it was great work, wasn't it, by the winger Farfili to put them in this position. Good angle run. Well delayed pass from the skipper Stacey Jones.
Well, Steve-O, if they are number 2 in the world, New Zealand, you would now expect them to put the foot on the gas and kill this game off.
Well, as I say, you'd think that, but a lot of things going in their mind here, and they've lost it again. Have to play on. Well, they keep coming up with these errors, and I'm afraid Mr. Melly is not having the best of games. Allowed Gardner to streak in at the corner. He was nearly caught out with an Albert run down that same blind side. That was a no try.
This is Darren Britt now for St Helens.
Let him up!
Well, they're eager, the Saints, aren't they? There's no doubt about that.
Oh, he lost that, did Britt?
Lost the ball, Darren.
He did. That's the view of referee Russell Smith as well.
Only slightly, but it just bobbled.
Clinton!
You see,
keep nose out of the face, please.
Get away with it, but the eagle eye of Russell Smith. Golden opportunity just thrown away.
The New Zealanders, Steve-O and Ian Millwood will know this. They've beaten the reigning champions in each of their last 3 full tours. The last champion team to beat them was Bradford in 1980.
Yeah, they've got a good record.
Talking of Bradford, here's their current skipper, Robbie Paul. But every time he's tackled, every time he makes a mistake, they cheer to the rafters. And Kirkpatrick now is penalised. for not allowing him to get back to his feet.
Well, surely he should go to the bin. He's already warned the captain, hasn't he?
He has.
He called Hoppy the last time. He's a lucky boy. I think he's forgotten as Mr. Smith. He said, any more messing around to play the ball, you'll be in the sin bin.
This is Jason Kalis. He's a big improver this year in the NRL. He plays the ball here to Richard Swain. Michael Smith again. Look at the missed tackles by Saints. 25. Handling errors are all square. There's another football on the field. Referee Russell Smith holds the clock up. Time's back on. Here we go again with Stacey Jones. Stephen Kearney. Bit more movement now. This is Violicki. Ball down by Hyam.
Good work from the halfback Mickey Hyam, but they're struggling now, the Saints.
Stacey Jones, quick hands, a bit too quick maybe, but Tupi manages to, I was going to say, retain possession for his side, but in the end, Adi Gardner is dumped to the ground unceremoniously by Solomona.
Well, I was just praising them that they were building up nice and steady, and then they just went into panic mode. That's got to be the biggest problem for Gary Freeman, the Kiwi coach, is the fact that when they get anywhere near the line, they just go absolutely berserk.
And here is Kirkpatrick.
Good cover defence. And again, they're searching out wide and they're getting the breaks.
John Stankovic taking on Siu.
Back to me, come on, put him up.
Beetham's already been in the sin bin once. It's a speculative pass out wide, that was. And it was from Dave McConnell. Lost a bit of ground there, the Saints.
Hands up, right and left.
That's the last.
Well, they are looking a little bit jaded now. Rightly so. It was expected. That's good pressure. Not the best kick, though.
Hyam with the kick. Siu picks it up.
Put him up, one.
Well, instead of being put on the rack, this Kiwi side just keep coming out with so many errors close to the line.
And this is Francis Melly. I know that we curse every time we see the rain falling before a big event in Rugby League, Steve-O, grand finals and test matches. But if this is any hint and indication, I hope it rains at Blackburn. This is Stacey Jones, though. He's dabbed it to the corner.
He's tried.
Well, it could have been a try for Farfili. Did he get the ball down? Did he manage to touch it down? I think he's going to give it to the video referee again to decide.
Oh, he'll have to. But why not did Stacey Jones put boot to ball? I thought he was skating. He threw the dummy and there was a huge gap. Well, it was missed by Kirkpatrick. That's no try. Oh, wait a minute. Did he get the hand there? Did he get the hand down? It's just misses it there. I think that's no try. I think that's a knock-on. But I still will go back to the fact that Stacey Jones threw the beautiful dummy, had the speed, perhaps didn't realise he could have got to the line.
John Kirkpatrick with the miscue. Now, is that the moment when he touches the ball down?
Who knows? I wouldn't put my bike on this.
There's the air shot.
No, that's no try, surely.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think that will be given.
Well, it's well deserved, the build up to it. It's.
I think you're a bit skinny, by the way, if you're only risking a bike.
I've lost everything else this season.
Well, what's the decision?
No try for me.
That shows what you know. The bike's gone. Well, now he's walking home, and he hasn't even got a home. Henry Farfili, 2 on Tuesday.
And you know, I'm going to throw in the repair kit. You can have the loss and the water bottle. But this was the break here, and I think Stacey Jones would have had the legs. There was no sign of any cover defence coming across, and quite frankly, I think Mr. Farfili has got the benefit of the doubt.
Well, that's what they said, didn't they, earlier in this season? Benefit of doubt now goes to attacking sides.
Oh, don't give me that. It's been either way all the way through the season.
Well, that's what they said.
I know that's what they say, but sometimes they tell porky pies. They must do.
Richard Swain has missed. 26-14.
And that could be another problem, you know, for the Kiwis. The kicking game is not brilliant. In penalties and conversions, that is. And you could see there quite clearly that Anthony Stewart, playing at fullback tonight, when Jones made that break, he was struggling to get there. You can see there on the side angle. Unfortunate perhaps for John Kirkpatrick, couldn't get his boot to the ball. He was there first.
It's Stankovic's kick-off. And here comes Solomona again. Well, they must be running out.
This fella.
And what a great offload. They must be running out of puff now, the Saints.
Well, you just get the impression that I think
Cunningham is off.
Yeah, and I think that's a wise move, and I'm sure that David Wade will be quite happy with the fact that
and
Ian
Neil
Millwood,
Kelly, the Welsh coach.
Yeah, Ian Millwood has said, well, come on, you've had enough. And it's been a brave effort, hasn't it?
It has been a great effort.
Because there was rumours about him, he's been full of flu, hasn't he?
Yes, he's not been well this week. That's a great kick from Stacey Jones. If this finds the touch, but it won't. It was going to be a 40-20, I was about to say. And Kirkpatrick did well then to protect the ball and himself from the onrushing tacklers.
Did you hear that little murmur in the crowd when he dropped onto the ball?
Just on the Cunningham situation, Steve-O. Great Britain are due to fly off for some warm weather training in Spain this midweek. I wonder whether he'll go or whether he will be captaining Wales. This is a great break meanwhile.
He's lost it.
Knock on. It was by Edmondson.
Good break as well. And a simple break from deep within their own half. Look at that. And they're being caught out.
We're getting a bit encouraged, aren't we, by all this?
Well, of course they are, because we know that whilst they're wonderful with the ball in hand and that they're very entertaining, but the gaps that are appearing in defence, especially out wide, and the way that Saints have utilised that blind side, and they've caught them out so many times.
I think Clarkey made a good point at half-time, though, Steve-O. Gary Freeman is getting his team, he hopes, to peak on the 9th of November. That is the start of the Test series. That's what they've come for, a victory in that. This is a chance here, though, for Fafili again. Mickey Hine with a super tackle. Mickey Hine with a terrific tackle. Well, that was a try all over for Fafili and Mickey Hine.
Well, he got it in top gear. I just got the impression that his foot slipped on the clutch. But what a great tackle.
Terrific stuff. Well,
wonderful stuff.
Mick Hyam, I wonder whether he will be in the England squad or the full Great Britain squad for the Test series. Both of those are announced on the morrow. Certainly he is a man, I am sure, that will be in the thoughts of the British selectors. Phil, what say you?
I'll tell you what, he's had a fantastic year. You sometimes go and notice what he does. Invariably, he's played in nearly every game for St Helens this year, obviously coming off the bench. His versatility is such a wonderful attribute that he has. He can play around there, and the one thing he has too that just helped him save that try is wonderful speed. He's going to be a big star for the future.
Certainly is. If that's a little hint. I don't think Phil has any final say on selection. I think he's there just to see fair play, but he's worth a shout. Here's Hoppy.
Oh, and that's brought the crowd to their feet. His final game. What he wouldn't give to get over for a try.
33 Test caps for his country, Sean Hoppy. He would love to buy a try here. Last tackle, and Mickey Hyam. And a dab through was by Stewart, and Nelly on that far side, not interested. He will be well pleased with his team, though. Patched up. 7 of the grand final team missing, and there's his record. And what a record it has been, particularly since he moved in here at St Helens.
Certainly made an impact, hasn't he?
4 trophies in 3 seasons for Ian Millwood, and that doesn't count the Coach of the Year last year.
And to be fair, he's really brought out some extra work, not just with the youngsters who we keep praising, Eddie, but you know, the likes of Sculthorpe. Even he's getting better, and that's saying something. He's world class already.
Coming up to the hour mark here at Knowsley Road. The Kiwis now looking to finish the champions off, but St Helens are sticking to this task, and he's lost the ball there as Clinton Tupy.
And the mistakes continue. Little doubt about it. Well, Stankovic's knee was in there, but did he know about it? No, he didn't. Well, they can't rest on their laurels. I'm sure that Gary Freeman and this entire team will have seen all the videos of St. Helens this year and their ability to just keep on fighting, to come back from the death on so many occasions.
Edmondson.
And don't write them off, you know. St. Helens is still in with a great chance.
Darren Britt. Solomona. Oh, there's the mistake. Well, Mickey Hine, we praise him 1 minute. And then he comes up with an error. That could be fatigue as much as anything else.
And just had a little glance at an opportune moment. And it is a shame because he really has worked hard. And that tackle on Farfili, similar to, remember Kieran Cunningham, I think,
yes,
tackling over on the far corner.
Against Wigan.
Yep. It looked all the world to try. And that epitomises the effort this St. Helens side have given throughout this season.
Oh,
they work as a unit, they've got a wonderful team spirit. And they are still working hard in defence.
Seo gets to his feet, plays the ball to Swain. He'll go down the short side with Tupi, and then it goes on to Lautiti, and out wide it goes. And here now is Melly. And the referee must have had a little word in his ear from somewhere. It was a bit late, and they look confused.
Well, Melly does.
I'm hiding behind him, Dave.
Touch and go. Where's
that momentum rule?
He probably doesn't know anything about it.
It's yours, isn't it?
Well, they keep saying it. I invented it, but I didn't.
Who did then? Do you know?
Greg McCallum, I think.
Gets blamed for a few things, doesn't he?
Well, he was a head of referees at the time, and we often discussed it with him, and he explained the rule to me at great length. I mean, I'll take the blame if you like. Will we make us smile for a change?
McConnell to Britt. It's been a gutsy old effort, this, from Saints.
It's outstanding.
Here's Hyam. Big collision.
Well, I mean, they've got the experience out there of Saints, but there's also a lot of players out there who must be so, well, I mean, awe this fact that I'm playing against a touring side, one as good as this. And look at that, it was a bit high.
It was high from the number 12, Heath Cruikshank.
I think he knew it there, and just temper's just fraying. A little bit late coming through. Crunch, no doubt about it. We'll say that he got that as quick as he could.
I feel he felt that, though. From Huddersfield, big friend of Ian Millwood, by the way. Heath Cruikshank.
Well, whatever occurs from here on in now, the fans here, they should be pleased. It has been a wonderful effort by Saints.
It is, they've let nobody down. They've certainly not let the British game down. This is Solomona. And looking to offload, which he does in the end to Bailicki.
Well, he'd be the first man I'd be selecting. I'm sure that Gary Freeman realises that. Solomona from Parramatta, quality prop forward.
Stacey Jones, Robbie Paul. And he's away eventually. Gets the pass away also to Stacey Jones. Up the middle goes Pulatuya. On one knee. Oh, brilliantly picked up by that man Solomona. Lovely hands too. Here is Lautiti. Lautiti offloads Solomona again. Dumped over the top to Stacey Jones. And here now is Monty Beetham. And he got the ball away. Kalis, oh, and they've put it down. 2p. And the frustrating night continues for Gary Freeman.
Well, how many tries have they bombed throughout this game? Incredible, and what a big hit there. See you. You just want to be fancy all the time. Looks good if you get away with it.
You look at him, he's set up
And they were miles offside, they weren't standing square. Saints will just take the time here, eat up the clock. And it's a matter of pride now for this St. Helens outfit. They must be feeling the effects, and the ball hits, the spare ball, it's Russell Smith. He ignores it. And it's now kicked away out of the field of play.
And so we continue here with Darren Britt with the ball that matters. Just shy of a quarter of an hour left. Here's Hyan. Good pass, and well picked up by Gardner again. Spun to the ground though by Clinton Tupy. Hyan, back to Gardner. Little flick pass.
Pretty well did Stacey Jones.
Hyan again. A stab through. Picked up. This is going to be a try here.
Is he onside? That's what he wants to check.
Well, if he is onside, it's a try for Dave McConnell.
He wants to know whether he's quick enough. What angle is onside? He is onside, is the substitute Dave McConnell. And that is a well-worked try. And yet again, the Kiwis have fallen for the sucker punch. They cannot handle the kick.
And the try is given to Dave McConnell. A sub against the Bulls in April, his only previous appearance. But he got his coach on his feet and leading the applause then, the 21-year-old. Right next to the post as well.
But look at the time he had. Now we're supposed to be seeing a St. Helens side that are out on their feet against a touring side who should be super fit. And look at that. Violecki is great when he's got the ball in his hands. And there's Ward with his second in his career.
2 from 3 for Barry.
Well, this is turning into an embarrassment to this New Zealand outfit. And there will be a big glow going through the bodies of all the British. And rightly so. A side that is on its feet.
Number 10, Barry Ward.
It's taken apart a wonderful, wonderful Kiwi side. And that's what the coach thinks of it. I said they weren't going to be undone. They were in with a chance.
And they are with 13 minutes left.
Don't tell me the Saints can come back yet again.
But there's a little knock on there.
Well, if they pull this off, Eddie, it'll go down as one of the all-time great victories for Saints. It was a wonderful effort last week at Old Trafford, but he is very proud indeed. Just keep going, he says. Just keep going. They'll keep coming up mistakes, the Kiwis, and we'll just punish them.
And here is Lauatiti, who's got Vanganar, and they will score. Second try of the night for Nigel Vanganar. It doesn't get any applause around the ground, and it doesn't get much reaction from the New Zealand coach, Gary Freeman, but he will be breathing a little easier now than he was just a second ago. He knows where the try line is, this fellow, and there's the mistake.
Yeah, Darren Britt never got a chance to regain his feet and play correctly. Sorry, Jones it was, sorry. And it certainly stuck that time. Good effort by Vanganar. He knew the way to the line. Just a neat step in and out there. Good quality. And boy, they are a relieved touring outfit. They were on the brink of losing the grip of this game.
Well, the last time Saints actually beat a Kiwi touring side, it was 27-26 in St. Helens' favour in 1989, and we were just wondering for a moment whether history was going to repeat itself, but not now. 32-20.
Well, a 12-point lead is not what the doctor ordered, and that doctor is Gary Freeman, and I think he might get the scalpel out.
Well, he's not got too many opportunities to change, Steve-O. There's only 22 on the tour.
I appreciate that, but he does have the ability to add another 2, I do believe, according to international rules.
Well, there are players who are on standby in this country, but maybe a couple of them have been overlooked already for this tour, and we shall wait and see. Clarkie, you'll be departing from us at the end of tonight. Encouraged?
Very much so, and if any British fans needed some encouragement to go out there and buy some tickets to get behind the national side, then surely that's got to be it tonight. But for the Kiwis, well, I suppose they only need to be at the best when the best needed of them, and I suppose that really will ultimately, well, I say, the 9th of November, who knows what England or Wales may do next weekend.
Kick and chase, it's just too deep. Yeah, it's a good point he makes, Steve-O. Gary Freeman's only got to make sure his men hit their straps November 9th, 16th, 23rd.
Well, that's easy said and done there, Eddie. I mean, here we have a side who was quite openly admitted that they were out on the feet, brought in all these youngsters, Ian Millwood, and with so much quality and class out there in this Kiwi outfit, they really should have taken to the cleaners, and they didn't.
Well, the Australians would have done exactly that, wouldn't they?
Well, you would have expected it. I'll put it that way.
It's accidentally.
And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's getting to a point whereby...
Yeah, but it's gone forward off a Kiwi hand.
They may be looking a little bit embarrassed. He won't be.
It's head and feet at this scrum to St Helens because the referee's just told the New Zealanders that ball went forward off a Kiwi hand.
What a week it's been for Ian Millwood in the St Helens club. Who after this game, of course, will be...
Lady Gardner felt that. And Monty Beetham.
He likes to throw his weight about, doesn't he?
I've got it. There's no problem.
Well, there was 2 of them, actually. Beetham and also Lauatiti. Just back from suspension, Lauatiti.
Well, he got the double, didn't he? Certainly got the double there. I don't know what it paid. But that was a very hard and high shot from both of them.
The crowd trying to rally the troops here at St Helens for a last big effort. Here's Cruikshank.
Well, Hull did it on Tuesday, didn't they?
Yes, Parker.
They knew the game was over, but...
Has
he lost it? He'll go to the screen. Oh, he's going to give it.
Try is given. Darren Albert with the try, and he got a right bang for his pains as well. That flicked off a St Helens hand, a New Zealand hand. And that's why it was play on. 25 tries this year now for Darren Albert.
And again, this blind side.
It was Lauatiti's fingertips.
It's becoming a nightmare. So I feel Albert was a touch in front. Oh, it bounced nicely for him, didn't it? Thought maybe he could have lost it but it was on the second occasion that it hit the ground. Took a real bad knock. Well, they're playing the music, we are the champions, and I tell you what, this has been an absolutely championship performance. They can celebrate as though they have won a convincing victory. And this blind side on the left-hand side will be giving Gary Freeman, the Kiwi coach, nightmares. They have caught them out on no less than 6 occasions. And you said just before half-time, Eddie, that Mr. Freeman had quite a lot of work to do. He's got more now, because this will do nothing to build the Kiwis' confidence, and he knows it. What should have been a stroll in the park has turned out to be a nightmare for him. All right.
Barry Ward!
So he's running back underneath the post to a hero's welcome. When you'd have thought that had just won the trophy yet again. It was displayed before the kickoff. That wonderful Super League trophy. They got a hero's welcome. And the fans here, irrespective win, lose or draw, they should all stand and cheer this wonderful effort from the St Helens club.
Oh, they will, don't worry about that.
They can feel ever so proud.
And they've got the sniff of something now, the Saints. Cunningham's back on.
And they're losing the cool as well, the Kiwis. They're going for high shots.
St Helens have said, come on, we can win this. And you know they just might. Cunningham with the hoof downfield. It'll turn by Licky round. And Cunningham leading the charge.
Look at that. Talk about enthusiasm. This St. Helens side are barely able to walk off this pitch. And in fact, if I was them, I would stand in front of these great supporters and just stay out there for 10 minutes and bask in the glory. Okay, it looks maybe they're going to be denied a win, but this is just as good, Eddie.
Well, the big guns coming back to try and push the advantage home further. Stacey Jones, kick downfield. That's going to skip dead.
Yep. Gone dead. Well, you can see how eager they are. Let's get on with it. They are not going to be satisfied with getting close to the Kiwis. Not much play from that fella in the second half. Been a bit disjointed. Well, they came to these shores, did the Kiwis, cock a hoop. They put in such a wonderful performance against the Australians. And it looked as though we were going to be in for a very, very hard series indeed.
I think we still are.
I know that, but the hope has to be just building all the time.
Oh, mistake from Gardner. Oh, and another mistake. Oh!
Well, they've got a smile on their faces, but it wouldn't surprise me if Gary Freeman keeps them in the sheds for a little bit longer.
Gardner with a fumble, and then Steve Maiden knock on, and then boom, Lauatiti.
Talk about fighting to the very end. The spirit from the Saints side has been a joy to watch, hasn't it?
It's been fantastic, absolutely terrific. They've carried the battle to them. This is Stacey Jones. New Zealand want to finish with the last try. They need a last try as well. Pricked up, up.
Ooh, there's a bit of a trip there. Well, can the Kiwis finish with a flourish? They need something.
Well, it was Hull who ended the scoring on Tuesday night. Paul Parker. Is it going to be a New Zealand try here? Richard Swain. And on the drive is Puliatuya.
He's got it down.
He's got it down. And that takes a little bit of the gloss off. Oh, he's going to ask the video referee to check it, but the ball was down. We saw that.
Yeah.
It's the second try for Tony Puliatuya if he gets the decision here.
No problem whatsoever. He has full control of that. If I had a house, I'd bet it was going to be TRY.
Tony Puliatuya then waits. And the verdict's given by David Campbell. Well, I don't know. I wonder what thoughts are going through Gary Freeman's head at the moment.
I think the fact that they've had a very, very large wake-up call, Eddie. Should have been more of that hard work in the forwards. A lot of this side quite happy to just wait until they have possession. And you know, a game of rugby league, you've got to work hard in both departments, not just on attack and look fancy. You've got to work hard in defence, and they have been caught out. The blind side and the kicking game are confusing the Kiwis. David Waite will have noted that, I'm sure.
Richard Swain from bang in front. 38-26, high-scoring match here. New Zealand are going to win it now, there's no doubt about that. But Mr. Freeman with a bit of work to do. And Mr. Millwood very proud as he now takes a well-earned breather and break.
He's got that magic touch, hasn't he? Mr. Midas, they call him round these parts. Enthusiasm that he passes on to his players is outstanding. And I know it looks as though they're going to be walking off this pitch as losers, but you know, mentally it's a victory in the eyes of the fans and the players and the coach.
Without a doubt, it's a moral victory for St. Helens. This is a team that should have been blown apart by the alleged number 2 rugby league playing nation in the world. As it is, with enthusiasm like that from those three, that really sums their night up. The big kick downfield again, and that looks like it has too much behind it, which it does. Kicking game poor for New Zealand.
Now normally you would think that St Helens side would just say, okay, well, we've done a good show, but it wouldn't surprise me if they go for a kick over the top and chase. They do everything different, don't they?
Here is Sean Hoppy, the captain of the night. Proud night for Hoppy. Cunningham.
It would be a dream if Hoppy could get over the try line. That really would lift this wonderful side.
Cunningham again. Stankovic. Oh, he nearly lost it then. Oh, he has lost it now. Just tried to get the ball away. Knock on. Last minute of the match. Last chance for New Zealand.
That's the type of thing that I said that they were trying to do. You know, let's get into the showers, a lot of players would have said. No, not this young fella. Let's try to get it away. Let's try to get another try. Let's give something back to these wonderful fans who have put their hands in the pocket, paid to support this wonderful side, and they were rewarded, of course, with that drop goal victory last week.
Well, this is the last hurrah, really, for the Kiwis. 20 seconds remaining. It would be a shame for St Helens, actually, if they lost by a bigger margin than 12.
Stacey Jones put the kick in and chase.
There it is. Chip and chase. And Cunningham demands... Oh, I was going to say to steady the ship.
Play on, it's not a Kiwi out.
Oh, he came with play on it. That's it. It's all over.
Here is Edmondson.
That'll do us.
Release!
There's the full-time siren. A hollow victory for New Zealand in the end. They were red-hot favourites coming into this match. But Ian Millwood, no matter which team he turns out, they always seem to do him proud. And Sean Hoppy bids farewell to the game. He retires at the end of tonight. The number 2 for St Helens. A proud moment for him. He led the team out as captain up against his home nation, of course, but Barry Ward and all the Saints, they deserve the celebrations here. They really do, and they are the champions, and they've proved here tonight against this touring side why they are the champions. Stacey Jones and company have a lot of work to do. So does Gary Freeman, the coach. A lot of work to do before that first test. Ian Millwood will take the winter break now that he deserves, and the Saints will come back at the start of next year, first of all to go for the World Club Championship, and then to defend their Super League crown. St Helens 26, New Zealand 38, that's the final score, and Chris Warren has got Kieran Cunningham alongside him.
Kieran, amazing scene here at Knowsley Road. It's almost as good as the grand final victory. You must be just so proud, not only of your own efforts, but so many of these young kids that have come through tonight for you.
I think everybody thought when we seen our team sheet it was going to be a bit of a cricket score. But, you know, we came out again, showed great character, a lot of pride and passion, and, you know, there's going to be a lot of kids shouting for jerseys next year.
Now, Kieran, I mean, with 3.5 minutes to go, you were still a chance of winning that. Ian Millwood 3 is back into the fray. Were you expecting to come away with the 2 points here?
Well, I was hoping so, you know, a couple of things that went our way. Yeah, no, I would have might have been a different result on the night, but we're proud of what we've done tonight.
A very big effort for you over the next couple of weeks. Of course, Wales on Sunday, then backing up for Great Britain. You must be excited about the next few weeks coming up for you and for Great Britain.
Oh, definitely, mate. You know, you love playing internationals, playing against guys like these, some of the best players in the world, and, you know, we just want to, well, I just want to prove myself on a world stage, that's all.
Kieran, good luck. Well done tonight. Good luck with Wales and good luck with Great Britain. With me also is Stacey Jones. Stacey, when you look at that scoreboard, I guess you would have expected to win by a bigger margin. These fans here at St Helens, they're very
vocal. Were you disappointed with your own performance of your team?
No, we came here. We want to go away on this tour, sort of, wins under our belt, and we knew it was going to be very tough. St Helens coming off a great win last Saturday. I know it would be tough for them to back up, but with the crowd that they've got, it's always tough to come here and play.
You've still got a couple of games up your sleeves before you get ready for that first test against Great Britain on November 9. I guess it must be quite difficult for your coach and yourselves to gel in the halves. Of course, you haven't played for some time with Robbie Paul, who played tonight, and we had Lance O'Hire and Motu Tony playing against Hull. What halves pairing do you think you'll settle on for the first test?
Oh, God, I don't know. You know, it's still a long way to go. We've got 3 weeks till that, so, you know, and 2 games. So we'll just, you know, hopefully build towards some sort of combinations that we've got throughout the team. So I don't know.
All right, good luck, Stacey. Good luck with the rest of the tour, and we'll see you, I'm sure, November 9 against Great Britain. Talking of Great Britain, we have the Great Britain team manager here, and of course Sky Sports pundit Phil Clark. Phil, that scoreboard, not many people expected it to be that close, did they?
No, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Caps off a great year for St Helens, and I even know the attitude of the club. Probably looking forward now to playing the Sydney City Roosters. I think sometime in February they'll look to that now as the next real goal. They've got some wonderful players coming through, great atmosphere, and it didn't surprise me with the momentum behind the club at the moment that they were putting such a good performance.
All right, good luck, Phil. Good luck with the tour with Great Britain. Well, back to you, Eddie, but I guess that New Zealand, the Kiwis, they may have beaten the best that Super League has got to offer, but the best of Britain, it's yet to come.
Yes, we shall see what happens in that test series. St Helens 26, New Zealand 38. And, well, New Zealand with a lot of work to do as they build for England Day on Wednesday, Wales next Sunday, and then the 3-test series against Great Britain. They have a lot to do, to be fair, the Kiwis.
Yeah, they certainly have, and that's why I've got a big smile on my face, because we are in with a really, really good chance. The big problem for Freeman is the fact that the way that they utilised that blind side, St Helens caught them out so many times, and it could have been a different story, you know. This try was disallowed by Albert, and again they were working that blind side. You could see the fullback, Bialicki, just got there in time, and it wasn't long after when Gleeson made the break. Now remember, St Helens only made 2 clean breaks in the first 40 minutes. They made 4 in the opening 5. This was one of them, and from this position they got back, but watch on the blind side yet again. Oh, the winger, Farfilly, caught out, and that really... But they finished off well, and it was a very tired St Helens side. Went far too high and pull you to you, but believe you me, this St Helens side, they just go from strength to strength, don't they? It's they've got a wonderful magic little thing going here, and with a good coach, I'm sure they'll continue on. But the most pleasing thing, as far as I'm concerned, is that Britain are in with a great chance. They have a few problems, the Kiwis.
They do. Let's not count too many chickens before they're hatched, but we have got a chance, Great Britain, I'm sure of that. What a night it's been for Sean Hoppy. He's bowed out of the game, up against his fellow countryman. Here he is with Chris.
Yes, Sean, what a night it has been for yourself and for your team, but what an illustrious career you've had, not just with St Helens, but over the years, particularly with that shirt that you're wearing right now. How are you feeling?
Excellent, mate. I'm feeling wrapped because, you know, tonight we didn't know what was going to happen. We had one training session for about 20 minutes yesterday. We met 3 new guys who, you know, haven't even run with the team except for Heath Cruikshank last year. And then we had all our young guys who didn't play in the grand final, and they just lifted tonight. And we thought, honestly, we'd get a bit of a caning tonight. And the way they played with all that passion, and they just... character there again, like last week in the final we had all our big guns and they won that, and then all the crowd pushed us through. It was just, mate, it was a bit of a fairy tale tonight.
I know you want to join the crowd very shortly, but you're leaving the club. But as you talk about so many of these youngsters coming through and proving themselves to be champions of the future, it's a club in good health.
Yeah, and that's all due to Ian Millwood. He can spot good talent, good young talent, and he knows what to bring out of them. Like I see Stuart Jones, who played tonight, and the young winger, I don't even know his name. That's how new they are. Mate, they're going to love it here next year.
Sean, well done, and thanks for everything you've done for rugby league.
Mate, thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, wonderful servant, Sean Hoppy, not only for New Zealand and all the clubs he played with down under, but since he came here to St Helens, a true champion, no doubt about that whatsoever. Well, a terrific night for St Helens, in defeat, but a moral victory, Steve. We keep going back to it, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I must agree with you there, and full credit to Mickey Hyam against one of the greats in rugby league, Stacey Jones, and it must be another bit of a headache for Gary Freeman, their coach, mainly due to the fact that Stacey Jones and Robbie Paul did not combine at all, and it is a big problem for them. We've already mentioned the fact that they shed in too many tries on that blind side, and they can't handle the little kick.
Okay, let's take a look at what's still to come tonight. Here next on Sky Sports 1, there's wrestling action. from the WWE Raw. Now over on Sky Sports 2, live US Tour Golf Day 2 of the Buick Challenge. On Sky Sports 3, we've live darts from the World Grand Prix. And don't forget, coming up on Wednesday, we have England A against New Zealand. It's on Sky Sports 1, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Well, St Helens came here and they were the biggest underdogs as champions. Boy, they dug deep. They've done really well. They've given the British game a great lift. From Steve-O and me, bye-bye.
Take the inside pass.
Lauatiti, and he gets over the line and he gets the ball down, Ali Lauatiti. Jones and wide, and this is a try. Terrific try here from Nigel Banganar. And Cunningham dabs the ball down the wing. There's been a slip there by a Kiwi. This is going to be a try. Jones, long pass. Here's Pugliatuia, he's through one, he's through another. That's a try. High him again. Wide it goes, Leeson, full of pass out wide. That's a try. Oh, that was an easy ball that was taken in there by the substitute, Michael Smith. A stab through, picked up, this is going to be a try here. And here is Lauatiti, who's got Banganar. Brentford, great crowd inside here, and it's England A against New Zealand, and it's going to be England who will get this game in motion, and all along the ground on these wet conditions. The kick-off from Paul Sykes. We're underway at Griffin Park, and that is Ruben Wiki with the first carry forward, the first tackle of this match. Great to see so many people in this ground, Steve-O.
Certainly is, and they'll create a wonderful atmosphere. Of course, this will be like a New Zealand home game. So many Kiwis live down here in the capital. But I must say that the England boys, they get enough to a fine start. They're moving off the line. They're a little bit too quick, though, for the French referee, Mr. Alibert. But it shows that they're eager.
Penalty just inside their own half for the Kiwis. Stacey Jones, their mercurial captain, will take it, and he'll deposit the ball midway inside the English half of the field. Maybe they have unhappy memories of their last appearance in London. It was in the first test of 1993 at Wembley Stadium. They lost 17-0. Gary Freeman was the captain of that tour. They lost the series 3-0. England, though, here early under pressure from the New Zealanders, and Stacey Jones in particular. David Solomona, the big prop forward with the drive in, the man from Parramatta Eels.
I must say the skipper, Stacey Jones, was a little bit quiet against St Helens. He'll be wanting a bigger game. He'll be involving himself a lot more, I'm sure. He's the architect, no doubt about it.
And there he is, Stacey Jones, running across the line, but England, their line stands firm for the time being. That's 4 tackles gone. They're 10 metres away, though, New Zealand. And it's in possession here now with Robbie Paul. Very quiet at St Helens on Friday night was Robbie Paul. That's the last tackle.
Not surprisingly, Eddie, they've put Robbie Paul out in the centres. I thought the combination between Robbie and Stacey Jones was not good. It's a high one. This will be a try.
And it bounced off the shoulder and picked up there by Ruben Wiki. And the referee gives the try without reference to the video referee. And the big question mark about the England youngsters out wide, Mark Calderwood and Wayne Price. And that was the first bomb that one of them had to deal with. And I'm afraid they didn't come up with the goods.
All they know is a little bit suspect under the high ball there, and they've obviously done their homework. The coach, Gary Freeman, knew that, and so did Stacey Jones. And you can see that Mark Calderwood, so often this season, but what a great leap there. Francis Melly, well, that was our Australian rules by the winger. Sensationally, missed it completely, did the back of his shoulder. And that's the reason you could tell it was going to be a try for this fella. And what a start. But it just shows you, Eddie, the importance now of coaches looking at the past videotapes, making sure where there's a weakness. And they certainly found one early in this match.
Yes, I think Mark Calderwood might be in for a busy night after that. Wayne Price also. This is Lance Hohaya, and it hit the post and bounced out. So it's only a 4-0 deficit that England face, but they've yet to touch the football.
Well, it's not been one of their positive things, has it, the goal kicking? But here's the kick from Stacey Jones. As I've mentioned before, it came right off the right shoulder of Francis Melly, and Wiki took it exceptionally well. When he took the ball as well, you could see that he was diving to the ground. There was no chance of the English defence to get anywhere near him.
And you probably also saw the touch judge in the background giving the indication and then complaining the Kiwis, but that man wasn't stopped. The touch judge on the far side giving the indication that everyone onside at that kick. And that's good defence from England. Dumped back again, though.
Well, that'll lift their spirits. Super defence there. And a lot of the Kiwis looking towards the Frenchman, the referee, say, well, surely you're going to shout hell, but he was right. If you're still making motion forward or even backwards, it's play on.
Stacey Jones with a big kick downfield. He's looking for a 40-20 opportunity here. It will skip off this wet turf and it will run touch and goal. So 4 minutes 20 seconds and England will get first use of the football with ball in hand.
Great work there. Wonderful stuff. He did get it away in the end, but he'll be happy with the opening start. Good try from Wiki, and interesting thing that it's been the New Zealand so far on this tour that have been caught out with the kicks. And obviously Gary Freeman's been working on that department, and it's brought them reward very early, in less than 4 minutes.
Matt Diskin was the dummy half, and there's the early kick into open space. Wayne Price is after this. Well gathered in, though, by Henry Farfili, but good chase by Chev Walker and Wayne Price. Robbie Paul was the dummy half, and New Zealand now trying to work the ball away, and this England defence, I got the impression then that England kicked a bit early in the tackle count, trying to catch the Kiwis on the back foot.
Well, they're trying to emulate what Hull did in that opener at the Boulevard. Remember, there were 4 or 5 kicks early in the tackle count that really confused these New Zealanders.
Oh, he does well there. Solomona gets the ball away to Motu Tony. He finds Stacey Jones and he gives it further width to Ruben Wiki, and wide it goes now to Clinton Tupi, and Tupi gets the ball away to Fafili, the winger, to Melly rather, the winger, and he will nip it back, and here is Motu Tony again. He stabs it into open space behind him, and Calderwood's after it, and Calderwood just manages to get the ball, or the foot to the ball, and just knock it dead. Well, as I said, I think this young man is in for a busy night. Mark Calderwood, birthday only last Friday, turned 21.
Good work from the hooker, though, wasn't it? Swung the ball out, they missed 2 men. Again, he was trying to bend down for it. It would have been far better to ensure he kicked the ball over in the first instant. Looks a bit concerned as John Keir. It's not the best opening. They've breached this English defence twice already.
Well, the Kiwis haven't looked particularly impressive in the wet either this tour, and every time the matches have been played so far, it's been a pretty damp evening, but their handling so far has been swift and sure. This is Ruben Wiki again, 33 caps for his country, score of the only try of the game so far. He tips it inside to David Solomona. That's Danny Ward there, and also covered in mud also from head to foot there nearly is Danny Tickle. They're trying to get the ball wide, the New Zealanders. It's Tupi again. Good tackling there by Gareth Ellis of the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Waiting for it is Francis Melly.
Ooh, not the best pass there. That's the first mistake from the Kiwis.
Zero tackle here for England. And that could have been a very dangerous tackle there by Solomona and also Lance Hohaya. Fortunately, the Englishman, his back hit the deck first.
Biggest problem for this England A side, of course, that most of them would not have played with each other. Oh, and there's a mistake. First time that Wayne Price has come in, taking the ball up. Nervous times though. It's always a big ask when you put on your country shirt for the first time. I can assure you that the nerves would have been tingling. They're trying to look as calm, cool and collected, but inside he'll be wanting just to take the ball up. Sadly lost it.
18 of this squad figured in the playoff series in Super League 7. It's the English squad, of course, and there are 9 New Zealand Warriors in the 17-man squad on duty here tonight. And Robbie Paul, of course, played in the Super League Grand Final. That's a great ball to Henry Fafili, and England having to scramble back.
Ryan Hudson really went off on the angle, knew that the winger was coming off the whitewash.
Drive in here now by Owen Guttenbiel, and England trying to stem the tide here. Motu Tony to Stacey Jones. Here is David Solomona, short ball, very well watched again though. Great tackle by Tickle and by Ellis on Ruben Wiki. They get the ball out wide again, then it comes back inside, and they've spilled it, but it went backwards, I think, and they will keep this movement going. Here comes Guttenbiel again, a stab to the corner, but that's just too deep.
Not a bad option there. Big second rower on Guttenbiel. And again we see the wonderful ability of these Kiwis trying to keep the ball alive. They've been caught out, as Eddie has mentioned, mainly due to the fact that they've struggled in wet weather, which is rather surprising. Any of you people who has ever been over to New Zealand, especially Auckland, dribbles down a bit from time to time there.
This is a good run from Matt Diskin, the Leeds Rhinos hooker, halted by Solomona.
Quick thinking as well there. Diskin could see that again.
Lovely kick through by O'Loughlin, but he is alert to every danger, isn't he, the New Zealand captain, Stacey Jones.
Well, he takes up the sweeping role as a skipper. That really will have lifted their spirits. A run from Diskin and then a little kick through. That'll be play on.
It will. And it's wide to Wayne Price, and Price, it was up, to be fair, around his neck, couldn't take it in. He'll bring it back surely for the first knock on and give England head and feet at the scrum, Monsieur Alibert, which he does.
Good refereeing by the official. There you see it, the prop forward, Solomona just couldn't keep it under control. A little bit high there, there was a huge gap. And he's got plenty of pace, as Wayne Price.
That's Danny Maguire feeding the scrum. This is Paul Sykes, almost through, and it's now the New Zealanders' turn to defend. And they will test the referee, of course, and test his patience both sides. French interpretation of the rules tonight, rather than New Zealand or British. Maguire again, and now here's Sean O'Loughlin. This is Ryan Hudson taking on Robbie Paul.
Utilised a dummy runner through there, but there was no going to shock Robbie Paul. He could see
Chef Walker. 4 tackles gone there, 5 metres away. Diskin will bring it this way with Maguire. A little stab to the in-goal area by Maguire, and it's a good chase by the English, and he's trapped in goal is the fullback David Vialicki.
Nice little stab through as well. Kick's only as good as the chase, and you could see there that they were eager, leading away Price and this fellow loose forward, Ryan Hudson. There's a coach, John Keir. Not had much time together, not like this fella, Gary Freeman. It's always an advantage, of course, when you're all together in the same hotel for, well, at least 2 weeks. We had a week preparation back in New Zealand, plus the game against Australia, so team spirit and teamwork should be of the highest level, but that's not a good one from Danny Ward.